November 9th. And you can tell it snowed because there's white on the ground. Yeah, wonderful. But we're gonna give it a whirl. Ain't gonna go down without a fight. Lowered my ground speed a little bit to attempt to not break stuff as easily with the cold. You know, there's a good top little bit that's frozen already. So things are gonna break easy when it's cold like this, but we only got about half of our corn ground tilled. So we'll see what we can do before it completely freezes up. Before people completely jump down my throat here, it's actually going not bad. Yeah, we do have the first top few inches that are pretty well solid, but it's breaking it up. Our disc blades, the cleaners, had mud in them the other day, so those are froze. So we pounded on those, dug some mud out of, or frozen mud out of there, and some of them were still not quite wanting to go. So I just gave them a wee bit more pressure, and then they started turning, and I backed my pressure back off. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. Frozen tillage up here. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys, this frozen cold weather is probably the only reason we're able to rip right now. I mean, it was going pretty well, but having this top few inches frozen, I got no wheel slip, none. And it's kind of nice. I'm not having any spinning out issues in the mud. So in some sense it's kind of nice, but in the other sense, hopefully everything holds together. It's nice and toasty in here. I'm in a t-shirt. My feet are freezing. For those of you that follow Millennial Farmer, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. My feet are freezing, but everything else I'm nice and toasty. This frozen dirt, it has helped us. We really cut this field up with a combine. It's got a pretty good, actually almost brand new tile in it, but the way it is, it just never, I don't know if it's enough to dry up, ever. Too much to do with one hand, there we go. And I'm actually able to cross through a lot of those areas that normally I'd probably either go around or just avoid altogether or whatever, but since it's crusted over, I'm able to drive through it pretty good. And not only that, my tires are staying really clean. So I didn't make a mess on the road when I moved over to this field, so that's outstanding. And the snow's starting to fly again. It's kind of been snowing on and off the last hour and a half I've been out here. I'm going to work tonight, excuse me, and I think there's a guy coming up to relieve me, so we got to keep this thing moving. Tonight's low is 10 degrees, so it ain't gonna take long, and this ground's gonna freeze solid. So I don't know that we'll get across everything, but we're sure as heck gonna try. Woo! Terrible idea to just wear my t-shirt out here. All better. Wow. Fun fact, it's still cold out, but it's pretty sweet in here. This field, like I was saying, it's got new drain tile, but for whatever reason, like, it just doesn't seem to keep up. And what I'm doing here is kind of twofold. I like listening to the guys from 360 Yield Center, and they were talking about hitting it at different angles in compaction years. And this field's always been so wet and so compacted because it's never really had tile that I don't know if the ground's letting the water get to the tile as quick as it should. So what I'm doing is, you can see our rows go this way. I'm actually just kind of working it with the natural water ditch that we put in here, just to take it off the angle instead of working with the rows, just to see if I work it at different angles to kind of fracture up that soil to help the water drain. That's kind of my theory, and it helps me make longer rounds too. There's a lot more turning if I go with the rows. And it'll also help me fill in some combine ruts a little easier. Although this thing really does fill in the ruts pretty nice, even if you go with them. But yeah, it's doing a really good job for how frozen and how cold everything is. Right here is really wet. You can see the ice chunks, probably, maybe not, but it's chewing everything up nicely. Can't complain. And of course, there we go into a wet hole with the tractor, but we'll just kind of sneak right through there. and our tires stay clean though. That's, yeah, it's eerie, you know, because you can break stuff pretty quick out here, and I'm trying not to, but it ain't gonna be anybody's fault if something does. It's just so cold that when metal gets cold, it gets brittle, and it wants to break. But you can see over here the rows get real short, so it's a lot of turning, but as you can see, I'm not going with them, and that's probably the worst section of the field in terms of saturation. So I don't know, it's worth a shot, you know. It's still ripping the field. It's maybe a little bumpier for me, not bad, because I'm going slower to try not to break stuff as bad. I mean, because we were pulling about 6 miles an hour when it was nice out. Now I'm going 4.5, maybe 5, if it's pretty smooth and up on high ground where it's not too waterlogged and frozen. So yeah, I'm just going a little slower so I don't feel the bumps as bad. So I ain't complaining, and if it makes us feel better, win-win. Well, we got our new LEDs on since it's snowing, and our hazards on so we can keep the old troopers and deputies happy in the area. No mud on the road, so that's good. But my time has come for the day. I gotta work tonight, so I'm pulling back in here. Obviously, I'm going to scoop up a little bit of corn fines that are under the dryer before they completely freeze down. My mom's got some chickens, so she can put that to use instead of just letting it rot and throwing it out in the field. So I'm gonna scoop that up into some 55-gallon drums quick, and park this thing over yonder, and somebody's coming to run it for the night here in about an hour. So we're gonna go probably for the next day or two, and then I think it might be freezing solid. I might be surprised, but we're gonna get as much done as we can here. So with that, you guys have a good night, be safe as always, and we'll check you guys later.